Buene tiro.
I couldn't do that. Could you do that? How can they do that?
Who are those guys?
Uncommon Sense with the Senior Delinquents.
Let us pay our respects to Podfart. He came to our planet to conquer it, but decided it was not worth it since we're about to do it to ourselves. Unfortunately, he drifted into the abyss of drink, which ultimately took its toll. His words were few, his friends even fewer. Actually, the only friends he had were you and me. Balgord, would you like to say a few words?
Get to Parada necktie.
All you can come up with is a goddamn cliche and still screw it up? Well said. Now we commit you to a better life in eternity.
Welcome in, everybody, to another special segment of Uncommon Sense with the Senior Delinquents. I'm Dennis Silvers, right here in Las Vegas, welcoming now my terrific co-host who is in the sunshine state of Florida, producer, director, Mr. Jamie McWilliams. And Jamie, I know some people have been dying to hear about this topic, but it's really for them too late. But it's about funerals. Like everything else, the price of funerals is taking off. I witnessed one recently that I was at that cost a fortune. This casket, Jamie, was, I'm telling you, hand carved with designs. It had the gold handles, you know, where people lift this thing up. And to me, I'm thinking, does the occupant inside really appreciate this or know how damn expensive this thing is?
Well, Dennis, I did a little research and I saw caskets made of gold with diamond encrusted pieces in them. One was a casket where a person was crime syndicate. And it said the casket was $100,000. I'd like to be one of the grave diggers and then grave robbers for that thing. I'm sure that guy's now, if you went back to his grave site, you might just see a hole in the ground.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. That is just, that's incredible. But you know, that's a serious topic though, Jamie. Of course, it's preference. It has to do with your religious philosophy, whether you want to be buried in a casket or you want to be cremated. Am I correct?
Dennis, I've attended over a dozen funerals. Everyone involved burial in a casket.
Interesting.
But my better half insists that she wants to be cremated, and she wants me to be cremated along with her. She doesn't want anything showy, gaudy, etc. I'm neutral on it, except for my stinginess, you know, which probably would lead me toward a cremation. But I know that whatever happens to me in the afterlife, it won't be in a box, an urn, or a tin can. So I don't care. Now, Dennis, do you have a preference?
I really don't, because Jamie, to be honest with you, it's something I really don't think about. And I don't know if I told you, but recently I had a very good friend that I used to play golf with. He got a very rare disease which caused him to gain weight. And at the time he died, he was literally too big to fit in a coffin. So the family decided to give him a cremation. I mean, he was so big that the cremation lasted Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Well, it's good they went to cremation because in a casket, it looks like with his weight gain that he was going to be paying by the pound. And it might have gotten really expensive. But all joking aside, there are solutions for that. Like they have the world's biggest pizza contest. They could have them in a giant pizza oven. And maybe they now have bigger urns too.
I
The urns
guess.
be called Big Ernie for oversized burials. Well, that's just a possibility.
Now, I don't know whether
Okay,
you.
stop laughing, Dennis. I got to get serious with you. What do you prefer?
I really
you want
do-
to be
I really
basted
do-
or
Honest,
roasted?
Jamie, honest, it's something that I really don't think about. And that would be really hard for me to say right now because I'm thinking about life like you do.
True. Now, have you attended a lot of funeral services, and have you seen some maybe strange people at some of these? I know I've seen a few.
I have too, and I tell you, the last one, before the last one, I'm sorry that I attended, it was a very, very small gathering. Everybody knew each other. There are people, they're known as gravers, that just like attending funerals, like hanging around cemeteries. They come, they don't know anybody, they don't say anything, they just attend the proceeding and they take off.
Because they don't stay for the not celebration, but they don't stay for the wake or anything afterwards. They
Not
they
at
just
all.
come for the service.
That's correct. They don't stay for it.
Weird.
They do it and then they go. Is that strange? And I've seen them because I have talked to the funeral director about that. And he said, "Oh, these people come to as many funerals as they possibly can. They have something going on with death. Go figure."
Well, Dennis, here's another question for you. I've only done this, I think, once, but have you spoken at funerals?
I have not. I have wanted to, but I'm afraid that what I would have said would have really upset some people. So I said, thanks, but no thanks.
Well, the only one that I spoke at was my father's funeral. He had died just before turning 90. I spoke at it. I tried to keep it brief, but I am a senior delinquent, so I told a little bit of one side of him and another side.
Right.
When I did work with a company that was involved with the biggest TV camera company in the country, and they had a golf tournament. First prize was a 2-week all expense paid trip to Japan for myself and my wife,
Wow.
which I found out later was about a $14,000 prize.
Awesome.
I wanted to win that tournament. My dad, when I told him about it, said, "I'd like to come up and ride with you to see that." You know that doesn't usually work out because you tend with your father there to not do as well.
A little
But
bit of
I
pressure,
stayed
yeah.
focused. Yeah, I won the tournament.
Wow.
But people, we finished fairly early, so people were still coming in. Now, he had driven up from Pennsylvania, and the tournament was up in North Jersey, so it was at least an hour and a half away. So he took off. Accidentally, I had left my car keys in his car. I went from being on cloud nine.
Oh, my
winning this
goodness.
thing, to having to call him and feeling so horrible to say, "Dad, I left the keys in your car," and I waited for the reaction. He just said, "Oh, okay, I'll be up there in about an hour and a half or so." He came up, and I really dreaded seeing him. He gave me a hug and congratulated me.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
That's what kind of dad I had.
That is
The
absolutely
other side, though,
awesome.
because I am a senior delinquent, is back in the 50s, Playboy made an offer when they first came out to have a lifetime membership for Playboy. So he did. I had a lot of benefits growing up, having access, whether he liked it or not, to all these Playboys. He had that subscription for 40 years plus. There was
Incredible.
you know how churches run these events to say, bring in your crafts, bring your stuff,
Yes.
we'll have these things.
Yes.
So my wife told me about it, and I mentioned it to my father because she was doing crafts, and she said, "Oh, okay, if he has some stuff that'd like to come over, bring it over." He shows up with about 300 Playboys.
Oh, my goodness. Are you serious?
That's my dad. But I felt good about it, and I really didn't take any more time than telling you to tell the story. So that's one thing I learned, that when you go to a funeral, when people come up, don't speak for 5 or 10 minutes about the person. Keep it short and sweet,
Right.
and maybe something that's touching or something that's funny.
Yeah.
But remember them as people, not just.
Absolutely. Well, quickly, Jamie, how was the trip to Japan then?
The trip to Japan was incredible, except for one thing. They had changed travel companies, and to impress me and to impress other people in the group who sold a ton of equipment and got to go, we saw every part of Japan in 2 weeks. We started up where they have the ice festival up north.
Yeah.
We went to the southernmost place called Beppu, Nagasaki, Kyoto, where the castles were.
Right.
And we traversed the country.
Great.
And it was wonderful to see so much, but you know what? It's hard to see a lot of anything when every other day you're off to another location. Incredible experience, but I wish it was not quite so breakneck. It was like that old thing of see Europe in 5 days,
Yeah.
like 50 countries.
Yeah, around the world in 80 days type thing. That's great.
Exactly.
You know, I want to tell our viewers, we'd love to hear from them. You can always contact us by going to info@seniordelinquents.com.
Take a look at any episode of a topic you might find interesting.
Right. And we are on YouTube now. We have our own channel. All you got to do is go to YouTube, type in Senior Delinquents, and you've got some other platforms too that you've got us on.
It takes time because some of them limit how much time you can put there.
Right. And we don't want to hear about funerals right now. I don't want to talk about your funeral because I know, Jamie, you're going to be around for a hell of a long time, my friend.
I hope you're right, Dennis. Same to you. And while we talked about death, today, here's to life, and hi ho, Silvers, away.